CPO here, and today is big brakes and tire rebalancing. Let me explain. So I'm out at my buddy Paul Warren's shop, World Tour Offroad in Annapolis, Maryland, and today I'm working on finishing the big brake install on my JK. I went with Dynatrac big brake kit. The problem is with the big brakes and the wheels I have, which are the Hutchinson Rock Monsters, there's very little clearance for wheel weights. So the balancing job that Paul did on these Nitto Ridge Grapplers before, they don't work so well with the Dynatrac big brake. So what we're doing is we're adjusting the weight location. His machine, you can tell it where you want to put weights, and it'll recalculate and do some magic math stuff to allow you to put weights in non-traditional locations. So we're actually putting weights along the inner edge of the wheel. Not ideal. I mean, it's more susceptible to being ripped off by rocks, but it is what it is. 90% of my use is on the highway anyway, and I'd rather have a nice, smooth, balanced ride, and I'll take the chance of popping off wheel weights on the trail. But anyway, that's what we're doing, so let's dig in.
You want this weight to stay?
Yeah, so this is the channel that should be clear. So if we can remove these, if the machine can accommodate for not using this like 2.5 inch section, then that will clear all tires. I pushed the pin through and tried to get as deep as I could. We may have a little bit more room here to work with, which is why I think these are untouched. Those have never been hit.
Yeah, this is one way that we found works best to get the glue off from these sticky wheel weights. And really there's no super easy way to do this, but it's just the best way we've found. This is just a big eraser, like kindergarten, but it spins on a wheel. So since we think might be able to retain these, now we're just gonna go and get all this brake dust off so we can get the new wheel weights to stick. So it looks like these weights did hold pretty good.
Yeah, so all the marks here are from us touching them. They came out covered in brake dust just like everything else, which tells me they're not rubbing.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to have any deformity on them.
So maybe we'll get lucky and be able to keep those. Just kind of doing my best to get this water out of here because we just washed these. So with the help of a paper towel and some centrifugal force, we'll spin this a few times and try to dry and fling the remaining water out.
And of course, we expect these to be out of balance because we just ripped a whole row of weights off of them. So and there's still a glob in the middle.
What we've done, because the bigger brakes will hit any weights that are right in this area, we're trying a little bit of an unorthodox method of putting stick-on weights right here on this ledge, which so far seems to work. We've seen other shops do that as well. The ledge kind of helps them from flying off, but with a rim like this, our first choice really isn't going to be hammer on weights with a higher end alloy rim. A lot of customers aren't going to be too happy if you smash lead weights on their, nice powder coated and painted brand new rims, especially rims that cost as much as these do. People really don't like that. So that's what we're going to do. So we did it on another tire already. It seemed to work. We just set the machine up to know this is where we are placing them on this plane, and then real deep into the more traditional spot for stick-on weights. So I've moved this a little bit, but we just hit our little button again, and we have this line where the computer's calculating where it wants these. So we're gonna get almost 3 ounces, 2.75 ounces on this outer ledge. And because the radius doesn't work out super friendly, we're putting 2 1/4 ounce weights at a time to get them to make the curve here. And since winter's coming, the other additional thing that we're going to do, that we do for people a fair amount anyway, is we're going to put some black silicone around these weights so that when water tries to get behind them this winter, we're worried about that water freezing and then just expanding and plucking all the weights off. So for people that are using stick-on weights, if your vehicle is running good right now and your tires are balanced with stick-on weights, it's not a bad idea to just get some cheap RTV. You can even color match it so it doesn't look as obviously goofy. So in this case, we have black rims, we're using black weights. So we're gonna sneak some not so suspicious looking black RTV around here to keep the water from freezing and picking them off. And it really doesn't look bad at all. And for this one, that's it. We've spun it a few times for good luck, and it's consistently showing this one's perfectly balanced. And it's a lateral imbalance. So this isn't just a lazier static balance. This is a full dynamic, vertical, and lateral imbalance that we've been able to do on this 37-inch tire. And now that the tire's off the machine, you can kind of see what we've done a little better. It's always a good idea. I just go back and physically push on all these weights again, where I can get a little more force on it. That's a little harder to do in the machine. So this is what we've got with our weights on this ledge. So to prevent these from just coming off, you can kind of see if it were raining out and with the tire spinning, centrifugally, a lot of water is gonna constantly be puddling up and trying to get behind these weights. And that's just totally unpreventable. But what we're gonna do to try to outsmart physics and Mother Nature is we're gonna make a preemptive strike here with some silicone or RTV. This is just the same stuff that most of you will have in your Jeeps anyway for trail repairs of potential leaking diff covers, you know, an RTV. So this is gonna really keep the water from getting behind there and freezing and plucking the weights off. That's really all this is for. And it really doesn't look half bad if you go a little bit of effort. We try to color match the weights here just so it looks better. So black rim, black weights, and then black RTV. You don't really even notice it on there. If we were balancing a silver rim like this, you know, we'd be using silver weights and silver RTV. Not a big deal. It's not a lot of effort to try to color match it. We're gonna kind of do the same thing with this pile of weights here, but anybody can go back and do this on their own tires to get ready for the winter season between mud and snow and ice and everything like that. This really can help your weights to stick on.
Now we free that up. There's no weights anywhere near that to get knocked off. Cool.
Yeah, kind of a pain in the butt that most people don't have to go through, but there's pros and cons to everything. Stopping is nice.
Yeah, it's the butterfly effect. You make one change and you've got to change 10 other things to account for it.